Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning. This is episode 20 of the Sell More Printing webinar. This webinar is aimed at helping you grow your print business using today's best marketing tactics. I'm Rachel Neese. I am the marketing director here at Marketing Ideas for Printers. And in this episode, we're going to walk you through understanding consumer expectations amidst COVID-19. We're going to talk through some things that consumers and your print buyers are most likely thinking and feeling right now, and how you can adjust your business approach and your marketing to better address their concerns. The goal with these tips is that they will be able to help you whether your state is currently open or not. But before I do that, I do want to make you aware of a couple of resources that we have that can really help you out. The first is this. We have added a new resources section to our website. So if you go to mi4p.com, click on marketing there and scroll down to resources, you're going to see a complete lineup of all of these Sell More Printing webinars. You can see all of the episodes there and sign up for this webinar if you're currently not signed up. You'll also see a whole lot of blog resources that are categorized by popular topic like SEO, websites, direct mail, and even some generic leadership topics there. And then down at the bottom, you'll also find a downloadable resources section. So these are PDFs and things that you can take and use however you see fit. But the idea is that you can use them and gate them behind your own pop-ups and things. You can use MailChimp or whatever provider you want, but then your print buyer would give you their email and their name in exchange for downloadable content. So the idea is that you can take these and use them on your websites, use them how you would prefer, just to help you get a little bit more lead generation there. The other resource I want to make you aware of is coronavirus resources for printers. This page is also on our website. You'll see a banner just at the top of any page on our website that says help starts here, click here. This page is full of content as well. We have a webinar series every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays focus more on broad topics to help you amidst the coronavirus. Thursdays help more specifically to subscribers of Marketing Ideas for Printers. You'll see the whole lineup of previous webinar episodes, as well as all of the links and content. There is just a gold mine there of information for you. Other resources on this page, there's free COVID-19 banners for your print buyers. You get all the design files, and if you're a subscriber, you can use the order form. We've added an order form. Other generic resources there for you, you can click on, and then a free COVID-19 postcard for your print buyers. Also, the survey results there let you know how other printers are doing during this pandemic as well. So just two resources there. I wanted to make sure I brought attention to those. But for today, we're going to move on to understanding consumer expectations amidst COVID-19. So, as you're probably aware, there's been this tremendous coronavirus-driven culture shift, and we're all experiencing it. And really, it's our job as marketers to understand where our buyers, where our print buyers are coming from, and what fears and motivations are going to determine their future behaviors. So, for example, when you know what your print buyers are expecting, you can adjust things such as your sales and marketing tone to better align with their expectations, and in this case, to better address those fears that they are currently having. Before I get too far into this, I should mention that I'm a huge researcher and I love learning and collecting information. And a large part of my research for this webinar comes from Gartner and their report, Consumer Sentiment About COVID-19, What They Expect of Companies. If you would like more information regarding this topic or to read that report in its entirety, be sure to visit their website at gartner.com. There's also a whole bunch of other great reports on there if you're interested. So where do we start in understanding our print buyers' expectations? Well, the first thing that you should know is this. consumer trust has really deteriorated immensely. And you're probably thinking, well, okay, yeah, but I didn't break their trust. I didn't do anything wrong. And while that's most likely true, the overwhelming amount of fear and insecurity that consumers, that your print buyers have faced and are still facing is just naturally going to spill over into other areas of their lives. And that's what we're kind of going to look at today. So what exactly are consumers afraid of? What are your print buyers? Where are your print buyers getting hung up that they're not just, running to your print shop? Well, let's look at a few of those. So there's the economy, both US and global. They're seeing their personal investments diminish, right? When it first started, man, those things just tanked, 401ks and stocks and stuff. And sure, now they're making their way back up, but that roller coaster ride of investments has felt quite volatile lately, right? I know Dave Ramsey's like, don't get off the roller coaster, but it's a bumpy ride lately. Well, the third one there is endangering others. They're worried about if they go and risk being out in public, are they endangering someone else or putting someone else at risk? Not being able to find and afford what they need, things like price hikes. For most of us, this is the first time in our lives that we've gone to a store like Walmart or Target, Costco, Sam's, and seen empty store shelves. I mean, we've never had to experience that before. We're so used to having this wealth of choices and options in front of us, and just this plethora of stuff, right? And here we're for the first time really facing, oh my goodness, toilet paper and meat and whatever wasn't there when I was looking for it. And how am I going to get this for my family? So keep that in mind. Another one is not knowing how long this will last, to plan accordingly. If someone were to say, okay, this coronavirus thing really stinks, but just hang in there, on May 31st, it's all going to go away, well, then we could better plan, right? But not having that information, having just that cloud of unknown and uncertainty weighs heavily on your buyers, as I'm sure it weighs heavily on you as well. So keep that in mind. Others not acting in the interest of the community. There's a whole lot of judging going on, right? Judging others for if they're wearing a mask, if they're not wearing a mask, if they're, doing an essential activity, if they're not. So there's this fear that others are not acting in the interest of community. And that goes, actually, I should say too, that goes bigger than just community members. That goes with the higher ups too. Is the president acting in our best interest, and the governor and the other people in leadership? Are they acting in the best interest? And the last one there is the safety of businesses' physical locations. If I am your print buyer, is it safe for me to come to your print shop and see you face to face? Are you taking measures to make sure I'm safe? So that's another fear that your print buyers are currently facing. So how do we address these fears in our marketing and our messaging, and to get over that mountain and get our print buyers coming back and buying from us? So I'm going to give you just 3 tips and ideas to help you with this. The first one is this: solve for specific print buyer situations. In a lot of these webinars, these marketing webinars, we've talked about the importance of solving your customers or your print buyers' pain point. And in the past, we've talked about solving those pain points in mass, right? So like your print buyers are struggling, that they're too busy or they need to save money. So we have messaging that's talking about time savings and money savings. Well, now you need to be thinking more individually and addressing the individual's pain point. So how can you better personalize your service and speak to the need of the individual? Well, here's just a couple of things. First, think like shipping and pickup options. Instead of a one-size-fits-all shipping and pickup option, be open to meeting the need of the individual. This is a time where the custom fields on your website, and when you can add text fields to give your print buyers an opportunity to express their need, the better off you'll be. you know, maybe they want you to drive to their mother-in-law's and drop off your printing order there. Whatever it is, right? That you're open to that, and you're allowing them the opportunity to share their individual need with you. The other thing to think of is individual discounts. So instead of doing blanket promotions or discounts that's the same across all of your print buyers, this is the time where you can be thinking individually. Pick up the phone, do wellness checks, see how they're doing, and see what that individual print buyer might need. You know, one print buyer might just need a listening ear, just a fellow business owner to talk to and vent to about what's going on. Another one might be really struggling financially, and they need to get promotional materials out, but they're struggling, so they'd like deferred payments and are wondering if you can do that, or options for a larger discount. So be thinking individualism. The best way to sum this up is to think personalism over professionalism, or that being personal is greater than being professional in this moment. That comes from author Patrick Lencioni. He says it this way: be exceedingly human. Demonstrate your concern for the very real fears and anxieties that your people are experiencing, not only professionally and economically, but socially and personally. Even though you don't have definitive answers to all of their questions, don't let that keep you from listening to them and empathizing with their fears. So that's the first one there, just to be thinking individually with your print buyers. The second one is to create messaging toward values that matter most to your print buyers. So remember all of those, that list of fears that we talked through earlier? Well, your messaging is one of the ways that you'll really help to address those. So we're gonna just look at those again, those fears, and I'm gonna talk through some messaging points that you can use to help address those. So we talked about personal investments diminishing, that fear that they're seeing their investments diminish. Well, your marketing then could speak to the return on investment that printing offers. Back it up with facts, right? We're tired of hearing all of this information from so many different sources, so back it up with facts. According to Small Business Trends, direct mail marketing earns an average of $2,095 in revenue per person. That's a 1,300% return on investment. Well, that helps to calm that fear that I don't know if I should spend money on printing right now because money is limited, or my money is limited, and I want to make sure that it's a good investment. So speak to that in your messaging. We also talked about endangering others, or the safety of businesses, your business's physical location. So speak to the measures that you're taking to ensure their safety. Now, you can do this by being specific, by saying things like, you know, contactless pickup and delivery options are available, or you can also do this more generically. Things like, you know, your job or your image or your reputation is safe with us. Safe right now is a power word. So use that when you're doing your messaging and your marketing to help address that concern with your print buyers. Another one, not being able to find and afford what they need. We talked about those price hikes and the empty store shelves. Well, you can address this in your marketing by speaking to your availability. Things like here when you need us, or fully stocked and operational to serve you. Let them know that you're here for them and you've got what they need. They don't need to worry about running out. Others not acting in the interest of the community. Here's where you can speak to your community efforts. You know, Tom's Shoes, right, made a community focus super popular by donating a pair of shoes for every pair of shoes that they sold. So what types of things can you do that would have that same community impact? Might be something like 10% of every order is donated to a struggling local business. This could be things like you're probably doing, you know, free banners and signs, or sponsoring other events to help build that community effort that we're all looking out for each other. The last one there is not knowing how long this will last to plan accordingly. So this one is a little tricky, but in this one, speak to your own vulnerability. things like, no matter what comes, we're all in this together. Sometimes the greatest message that you can tell someone else is just validating how they're feeling. Like, you're right, this really stinks. This is uncertain, but you know what? We're gonna get through this together, and offering that hope, that idea that you're jumping down in the pit with them and helping them wade through this together. So in that instance, speak to your own vulnerability and be authentic. Um, 4 things here to really keep in mind as you work on getting out your reopening message, just to kind of recap here. The first one is this: establish a routine. So one of the greatest disruptions with all this, right, has been the lack of structure and that sense of routine. You've got parents who are homeschooling for the first time, and people that are working remote that have never had to do that. And so we're all going through this, like, what day is it? And how many days have I been stuck at home? And so they've lost that normal sense of routine and structure that they're used to. So look for ways that your business can create this routine through connection. What things were you doing in the past that you stopped doing? So for example, if you haven't already, this is the time to for sure reestablish your monthly direct mail campaign or your consistent email newsletter. As your print buyer, I am expecting a certain level of consistent communication from you. And if I'm used to getting a monthly direct mail piece from you, and all of a sudden you grow silent and it stops, well, you've just added to that whole sense of wackiness of losing that routine. But as much as you can stay consistent and create that routine, the better off that you'll be. Secondly, help consumers feel like they're in control. This is the time to really bust out those custom options and meeting the needs of the individual. Put the control back on them. I know I preach this a lot, but make them the hero. You're there to help them and guide them, put them in control. Number 3 there, establish that sense of community. Remember, this can be a virtual community. It doesn't need to be face-to-face. So things like your emails or social media, maybe a Facebook group, or simply picking up the phone, look for those ways to establish a sense of community. And then lastly, demonstrate empathy. I talk about empathy quite a bit, but I want to hit the point here that sometimes empathy can simply mean practicing good tact. For example, Hershey's, the chocolate company, right? They pulled ad spots from circulation that showed people hugging while sharing their chocolate bars. So instead, replacing them with product close-ups. They were sensitive to the fact that seeing all these people hug and stuff while sharing chocolate bars might be a sore spot, because we're not able to do that currently. Another example is KFC, or Kentucky Fried Chicken. They have a tagline that they use quite often of finger licking good, right? So they had this campaign that was completely dedicated to the satisfaction of finger licking. Well, obviously, finger licking in the midst of a virus pandemic probably won't go over very well. So just being mindful to have tact. How is my message going to be perceived right now? And just be mindful of things like that. All right, the last tip I wanted to cover with you is to provide products and services that encourage. This is just a personal one that I'm struggling with, that I thought that I would just share with you and see if it would help, and you can just run with it. So a lot of you are already providing products and services that encourage your print buyers through things like free banners and signs, or other printing products to help businesses during this time. If you're keeping up with us on the Coronavirus Resources for Printers webinar series, you might have heard the episode with Mike Jensen from Tri-M Graphics and their business reference guide, the things they were doing to help and encourage their community. So continue this line of thinking. How can your business stand out to provide hope and encouragement during this time? So here's the one that I'm struggling with that maybe you guys can run with. This idea of stickers and labels, right? So you go out, anytime you do go out, you're just bombarded with all these signs and stickers and labels, to keep your distance and stay apart and stay home, and just the overwhelming disconnected feeling. It's just super discouraging. It's just like you feel cut off from society and other people, and everywhere you look, it's just, don't touch this, stand here, stay home. And I grew up I remember when I was a little kid and the Mr. Yuck stickers all came out, right? And I was just like, oh my goodness, there's just this wall of these Mr. Yuck stickers I have to stay away from. Um, but anyway, it's that same idea here. Like, it's starting, consumers and me are just getting tired of it. It's just weighing on me. And companies are starting to take notice of that. For example, Facebook, they recently added a care emoji to their reaction panel. Well, it's just a simple sticker, a simple reaction, right? Could you do something similar? What if you did a sticker or label on every order with no agenda that just said something like, we're in this together. We're here for you. Anything you need, something that would combat all of that discouraging don't, with just, you know what, we're here for you to help you out. You could just take this further with bumper stickers, window clings, yard signs, something that heartens not just your print buyers, but all people in times of panic or uncertainty, that just brings us together. You could easily be a source of encouragement for others in this way. In my neck of the woods, um, when I do get out, if you drive through town, or you'll just see houses that are plastered with cut out construction paper hearts in their windows as a way to show support to others. And currently, when I'm driving out and seeing things, it's the best part during the times, just to see that symbol of hope and know that we're all in this together. So, what can you do to just take that and run with that and be a source of encouragement to your print buyers? Um, Speaking of which, I hope you found encouragement and hope in this webinar, that it gave you some tips to take with you and use to kind of get over the fear that your print buyers are having, and kind of guide them to back to selling, or I can't talk, getting back to ordering more printing with you. So that's all I had for you today. Thanks for joining us this morning on tips to help you sell more printing. Our next webinar will be Wednesday, June 10th, 2020 at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you have questions or comments, or if you would just like an extra set of eyes on your messaging, need some help or anything, feel free to reach out. Or if you have future topic requests, you can reach us at 701-241-9204, or you can email me directly at rachel.meese@mi4p.com. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I'm just thinking about you all as you're opening your businesses and getting going, and I'm just praying that you guys have print buyers just pounding at your doorstep, both physically and online. So have a great day, and hope to see you again.